Alrighty. What's up, everybody? How's it going? Little late night birthday stream here. You know, turned 27 years old. I'm not sure exactly if it's on the dot or what time exactly I was pushed out of my mother, but it was August 10th, 1993, man. Woo! That was a long time ago. At least it feels like it. Here's one of my birthday presents here, my new mic, which actually isn't going to affect anything live anyways, since I'm just going off my phone. That'll be the audio live, but this will be for when I put it on YouTube. Nice, I like it. Sounds crisp too. Very nice. So yeah, thought I'd just do a Deep Thoughts episode. You know, I kind of planned on doing one like this for my birthday. You know, really just an episode talking about life, my life in general. My thoughts on life, because boy, do I got a lot of them, as I'm sure we all do. It's a wild experience. It's a wild ride we're on, and I don't know. We'll talk a little bit about it. We got the late night chill vibes going here, but we still got plenty of coffee. Still plenty of coffee there. You can't have enough of that. That was for the mic. So yeah, life. What a simple, easy topic to tackle. But really, I wanted to I don't know, take this opportunity to not only talk about my thoughts and feelings on life and what I think it means to me, and how I feel it's how I feel about it, how I feel that's important, and things like that, and how my views of it have changed over time. But I also want to take this opportunity, specifically why I post some stuff to Facebook and why I'm doing this on Facebook, is really because for my birthday, I did toy with the idea of actually trying to maybe get some friends together, I don't know, try to have a little get together or something like that, try to show my friends that I appreciate them and their friendship, and but that's kind of late to start that process, and a little unmotivated. Surprise. If you know me, it's hard for me to get motivated to go out and mingle with people, with fellow humans. But it's something that I was really thinking about doing, and really I just wasn't motivated enough to push myself to do it. And of course, there's other things going on right now that makes it hard to even have get-togethers and things, and although I would love to use that as an excuse, really it's just me being antisocial as usual, I guess. But I felt like this could be a way for me to at least, you know, attempt to interact with people. Since majority of, my friends and everything are on my Facebook, so, I really do, just wanted to say that even if I don't, talk to you really, and I know, I'm in a time of my life, and yeah, and I'm not the only one where where you just want to deal with just certain people, people that make you feel good about yourself, and people that are positive influence in your life and don't stress you out or don't cause any drama, and so I've cut a few people out of my life, not too many, but I do, the people that there's a lot of friends that I have that I may not be in contact or may not contact very much or talk to very much, who I still really, do appreciate their friendship and think about contacting, certain people a lot. And again, there's just that lack of motivation to totally do it. And, it's a flaw, that I don't like about myself, but I'm always trying to work on it. I'm trying to always push myself out there and force myself to get out there and hang out with friends and things, and the real ones, the true ones, the ones that I really appreciate and want to make sure I keep in my life forever. I try to make sure to put in that effort to at least see them or talk to them every once in a while. And again, there's some people who I really, it's really past due where I need to hit them up, and for that I apologize for staying to myself so much, because I do that a lot now. And that's one thing about life that's changed kind of for me. I don't know, it's in one way that's always kind of how I've been. I've never had tons of friends. I've always managed to make at least a friend or two in school, and we'd hang out and everything, but there's a part of me that's definitely appreciated my me time, but now it's kind of, I don't know, man. And now it's like, I know it's important, but there's times where I just feel like I just want to have like really hardly any friends and just be totally left alone. But but besides like my family, but I know it's important to have friends and stuff too, and to have certain relationships, especially with people who really care about you and really try. And man, I know I got a lot of people in my life that care about me, really do. So I just need to show my appreciation more, for sure. But yeah, talking about August 10th, my birthday. And another thing with getting older, birthdays, they just ain't the same. They just not. And I know that's just how it's supposed to be, and a fact of life. I could probably tell you just about, I could tell you about like my first like 13 birthdays probably. Well, mine is like 1 and 2, maybe 3, but maybe like from 6 to like 13, I could like tell you about those birthdays. Boy, I could tell you about probably the cake, the presents, and everything. I have a lot of good memories with birthdays, and gotten a lot of awesome stuff. Can't complain here. But definitely as I got older, and definitely into my early 20s, it's like birthdays just, it's hard to get real excited about them. What's up, Sheehan? It's hard to think about, it's hard to ask for anything, any presents or anything, from anybody. As an adult, it's like you kind of know that you could, buy stuff for yourself, and just really not as much need for gifts and things like that. But it's the gesture of it. I'm hypocritical in that way where I don't really do much to celebrate my own birthday anymore. But when people talk about their birthdays, and especially older people, and I don't know, just people I've talked to at my job and such, and or in passing, and when people talk about when it's their birthday or if it's their birthday, they majority of the people that mention that, especially like I said, like 30s, 40s, middle-aged people, they're just like, it's just another day. They kind of just don't act like they don't really care about it, and I'll always say something like, "Oh, you should, that's your birthday. You survived a whole nother year, a whole year in this world. It's not easy." For other people, easier more for some than others, but that's something to celebrate, right? You know, but do I practice what I preach? Yeah, it always comes down to a last minute thing. It's so weird with me. Christmas is the same way anymore. It's just really a lot of nostalgia and wanting to maybe relive memories and things like that, or trying to recreate the feeling that you got when you were, little. I don't know. So I try to, kind of like at the last minute for some reason, I'll get this feeling of like, oh man, I need to do something. Like my birthday's in like 2 days or something, like, and I haven't even like thought of it really at all, or it's like I need to try to celebrate it or try to do something special. It's like, I don't really think of much, to really do for real. And thank goodness for like, my parents, my family and stuff, because they make sure to, help me celebrate it in some way, get me a nice, cake, some cake and ice cream, and, which is good, and that's all I'm, pretty much doing for this birthday, except for, we are going on vacation as well. So there's that. And so, it's not like I'm not doing anything, because, we went on vacation last year around my birthday too. So, and I count that for my birthday. That's celebrating, going on vacation, taking time to, spend time with your family and take time for yourself and things like that. So that's what I'm really looking forward to here in the next couple of days when we leave. So there's that. It's just definitely with life as I've gotten older, I do realize that it's just, I'm really realizing how my priorities and things have changed and are changing, and just I don't know, the sheer reality setting in of just kind of what life is. And it's not, a lot of times, especially in my case, it's not what you expect, or what doesn't exactly turn out how you think about when it comes to like goals and dreams and things like that. I'm guilty of having extreme aspirations, lofty goals, if you want to say. I'm not the only one, but it's just weird, especially in these last 7 years, just how my perspective of that has all changed from when I was 20, in my early 20s. I just had this idea in my head that life was, life was something that, you were supposed to have crazy dreams and to try to accomplish. And once you thought of those dreams and goals, you're supposed to chase them until you achieve them, work hard, and do everything you can, to achieve those dreams. And then, you know, uh, I just remember, like, man, like 7 years ago, that was such a positive thing for me. That was such a positive mindset for me. I was so determined and committed to chasing my dreams, man. I really, and I hate to talk like things are said and done and over with, and like, like my life is over with. It's not. I just get dramatic about things. When I turned 21, I told myself, this is it. You're just a grown up now. That's it. Just grown up stuff from now on. I'm not totally different from then, but I definitely think a lot differently, and I've sure learned a lot since then. And one thing I did tell myself, though, after I turned 21, and once I decided to, work at trying to do the things I wanted to do with my life, regardless of how crazy those things were, I knew that it was just going to be a difficult road, difficult path. I didn't know what it would entail, but I just knew, like, I told myself. I don't even know if I totally believed myself when I told myself, but I did tell myself, like, it was gonna be hard. And it's been hard. Again, just not in the ways that maybe I thought. It's just crazy to reflect back, like 7, 10 years ago, and man, it's just, it's nothing, nothing. Thank you, Rome, for the happy birthday. Thank you. Miss you guys. Hope everyone's good in Texas. Really wish we were going there this summer, but hey, next summer. But you know, it's just crazy to think, like, there were so many moments, man, where I was 20, 21, 22 years old, where I was just like I knew, time was moving, but it really didn't feel that fast. It didn't. Man, I remember thinking about when I was going to be 25, like that felt like adult, thinking about when I was 25, like I was like, that's adult. That's what I'm going to be, just a grown up, and that was 2 years ago, man. And it's crazy that it's just, man, just keeps going, It's weird when you, especially someone like me who really, and I did an episode already on nostalgia. It's weird when you're somebody that really likes to go back in memories and, just go back through good memories and, old times, and kind of escape in that way, through like nostalgia and things, because I was very fortunate to have a, very good childhood that I can look back on with very good memories. And it's just strange to think that, like I'm just not a kid anymore, like, because I still have like thoughts, or like I'm a kid sometimes. So it's just weird to think, like, no, not even close, man, not even close to a kid anymore, really. I mean, immature, yes, but I can't call myself a kid, man. There's no denying that I've lived, a very grown up life, man. And you throw a child into the mix, and I'm a father. That's more responsibility than I ever, probably ever realized I would have. You know, again, just like I said before, my priorities just have really changed over time, and I mean, definitely in a good way. It's just like I said, when you set such goals for yourself, and set almost timelines for yourself to achieve, which I know, anybody, any motivational speaker or whatever will tell you shouldn't do, but no doubt I've had that habit. And man, when those timelines come up, or those deadlines, and they go past, uh, really, it makes you lose a little hope. It makes you think, maybe you can't do it. Oh boy, baby girl's crying. Had to put this on pause. Hold up. All right, I think we're back in business here. Again, priorities. Had to take care of some business there with my child. Yeah, just since I've gotten older, I've definitely noticed, gone through patches or phases of things that I've cared about and felt are important, and you know and so my priorities have just changed over time to a point, to where now I'm at a point where, with a child, and I'm closing in on 30. I have to really think about, you know well, the future. That's the biggest, number one thing that's now in my head, and really has been in my head since I, probably turned like 20. Before 20, I really lived my life in the now. It was just the now. I didn't think ever give too much thought about college, and being an adult and having like a family. Like, that stuff came to my mind, and just, I don't know, and just imagining things. That's more what it was to me, almost like stories. Imagining stories in my head, like, oh, one day maybe I'll have two kids, and whatever, be married, and work in an office for 98K a year, and health benefits. I never thought about stuff like that, which shows itself why I don't have a college degree, and I'm working at a convenience store. I didn't plan that stuff out at all, really, until like senior year in high school, and didn't work out. So yeah, now it's like, you know, ever since I turned 20, and I really felt like I figured out finally what I wanted to do with my life, I thought a lot about the future with that. What happens when I, achieve my dreams, and, accomplish everything I want to accomplish, and, you know, become a great filmmaker, and make, enough money doing that. I've never cared to imagine being filthy, stinking rich. Maybe when I was younger, that was funner to think about, but I've never really thought about that too seriously. When I played the game of life, that was always fun. I always hope, I drew that, you know, rock star card or whatever for your career, and then like the $500,000 salary or whatever. I felt good. But otherwise, it's like, I just, imagined making a good living off of doing what I felt like I finally figured out what I wanted to do with my life. And, um, and so, I thought at different ages, I would be at different points where I've accomplished different things. And, I don't want to say realistically, because I always told myself that this was all probably just baloney anyway. And, I was never probably ever going to be what I wanted to be, just because I like to set the bar a little low sometimes for myself. I don't like to get my hopes extremely up. So I just do that naturally. But but there were often times where I thought by 25, which this was giving myself like 5 solid years, when I was thinking about this when I was like 20, I mean like 5 solid years, man, of college and writing, my screenplays, and I'll have a feature length film out by then, man. At 25, I'll probably release my first feature length film, and I was like, bet. That gets me a little bit of money. I'll put it right into my second film. Watch me at 27, man. I bet you in 2 years I could maybe even get close to pumping out another one, or at least finish a screenplay for another one. And boy, would you believe it if I told you I'm currently writing a screenplay I started when I was 20? It's not even close to being finished. you know so there was always that thought in my head, like, okay, be realistic about it, Adam. It might not happen. But then it's like, now it's like I'm kind of here, I'm here. I'm at this point where I remember myself imagining me being 25, 26, 27. And here I am. That's me now. I'm 27. So it's like, I have to do some reflecting. I have to reflect back on those thoughts and things, because those are things I took very serious, very serious. I took it, I took it all very serious, to the point, and I'm talking about trying to become a filmmaker, if you want to call it that. I was writing screenplays, and I took it very serious to the point where it really stressed me out a lot, a lot. And man, I beat myself up a lot just for not finishing things much sooner, not writing every day. And, I still beat myself up about those things, but not as much. And sometimes that worries me, because I feel like if I'm not beating myself up, a lot over it, then I'm not staying on top of myself to, pursue it, then I'm not taking it as serious then, and that's not good. If I'm not taking it as serious, then what am I doing? Am I, giving up? So that's why I've thought about, more now as I've gotten older. It's like, now I just care about that little 2-year-old mini me in there. I'm putting all my chips into her, man. I just want, now it's like, now it's like, and I feared this, happening to me, and me giving into this at some point in my life. But now I understand why people don't continue to pursue their dreams, and why they don't achieve their dreams, and why they give up, because sometimes they have a family. Sometimes, you have a kid. When you have a kid, that does change things a lot. You know, if you care about your kid, Like I say, every parent does. But you all of a sudden feel the obligation to make sure they succeed. And you want to make sure that they're just taken care of. You know, it's so much now. I'm so much about just like making sure, she eats and she eats healthy, way healthier than me. I want, her to, and I know she's not even two, she'll be two in September. So it's like a lot of this stuff, doesn't really matter that much right now. But I do have it in my brain that it's like I want to make sure that, and I don't want to say it, I hate to say it, because it might not be totally true, but I'm going to say it, but I don't want her to fail like me, in a way. I want her to succeed and just, man, it's just, I, again, I understand the parent thing now. I understand the whole, like, you just don't want your kids to make the mistakes that you made and all that stuff, because that's all I think about now, man. I just don't want her to be 27 and be where I'm at. Not that my life is good. My life is very good because I'm surrounded by very good people. I have a lot of good people in my life, and that's very important to having a good life, I believe. But like I said, I just, I set a bar for me a little too high, and I kind of knew that in certain ways, but I still did anyway, and hey, it's not all over. It just feels like it's all over. Man, it's funny. I've kind of right after I turned 26, I considered myself 27. I don't know why. To the point where I kept almost forgetting that I wasn't 27. Like several months ago, I was convinced I was already 27. And I try to look back at every year, especially, like I said, now, how I used to think about life. You know, I didn't, although I maybe, was enjoying life a lot of the time, throughout my childhood and my teens and, even like I said, early 20s. But that's, I was maybe enjoying life, but that doesn't mean I was truly appreciating life or understanding exactly what it is or kind of what it is, even anything close to an idea of what it is. I never put that much thought into it enough to have certain emotions and feelings about life. You know, you could be raised in a Christian family or, and go to church your whole life and be told that Jesus loves you and you're supposed to love everybody and you're important and this and that, but I mean, I don't know. How do you really know it's true if you're just being, I don't know, taught it? Like, how do you feel it though? And I grew up hearing things like that my whole life, but I never actually gave it any more thought than that. If you put it on a test or a quiz, I could answer that. You know, is your life important? Yes. Okay, A plus. Whatever. That's what I would expect somebody would want to hear at least as an answer. That seems like the correct answer. But if you don't put any more thought into it than that, then there's really no feeling behind it. And the feeling about it is all what it's all about, man. What it's all about. The vibes. It's really what it's all about. And now, through whatever, just I guess just naturally getting older, or just the certain experiences I've had, or the certain things I've learned, finally, and only just 2, 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, finally, I feel life, all life is important. Once you feel that and you truly believe in that feeling, it changes everything, you know? It really does. Especially if you're one that, doesn't agree with that idea or is unfamiliar with that idea of life being special and important. Because I'm telling you, you know, I went through a time a few years ago, and, you know, life being special and important was never on my mind, never a thought in my head. And, I was in a place, and we've either all heard this or we've all thought this. I was in a place where life was all doom and gloom, and to the point where it got to that what is the point feeling. And once you're there, that's a hard hole to crawl out of. That's a tough pit to get out of. Once you feel that there's no point to breathing right now, or to your specific existence, you know excuse me. If you're not feeling, that it's important, you obviously can make some very irrational decisions. So, and I've been there. I've been there. I've thought about doing stuff like that, and you know, man, I'm telling you. And then all of a sudden you see some things or read some things or hear some things that just changes your whole perception on all of it. And that's what I've done. Uh, and now I can't help but see it as just this important and special thing. And the more I, go down that path of understanding why it's so important and special, the more I realize you know, how easy it is to sink into that pit of despair or hopelessness, because it's kind of set up all around us. We tend to get shown and told certain things that make it seem as though our lives were just an accident, or just, yeah, just whoops, luck. And where's the meaning in that? How are you supposed to feel like a special individual, or that your life matters, if you're told on the grand scheme of things, none of our lives matter, in a sense? And I know you could connect that with certain things right now, which I'm not trying to connect it to anything else that has to do with lives matter. What I'm specifically speaking about is people who believe that our lives came about, or our species and our planet came about all by sheer luck or accident. You know, when you're taught those things and such, and you believe them. And I'm not saying they're right or wrong. I'm not, I'm trying to say one thing's right over the other. I'm just saying, though, if that's what you believe in, how are you supposed to believe that, you know, that's important as a whole? You might find that that you like being alive, so you're going to, you know, stay being alive. But if it came to ever like, this is extreme, but if it ever came to like making a decision about humanity or the rest of the human beings on this planet, would you really care like what happened? If you already acknowledge one, you know, life is kind of meaningless. You don't believe in an afterlife, maybe, or heaven or anything like that. So, you think you're just gonna die and that's it. And then yeah, too, you acknowledge that you're going to die and then that's it. And who cares what happens after that? Where's the and I'm sure some people still manage it, but where's the empathy again towards not just people around you and your friends and stuff, and the the homeless guy you want to give change to and things, but where's the empathy for human life as a whole in the human race? Where's the desire or motivation to want to keep it going if you don't feel like there's some importance to it? It just feels like, and again, because I've been in this pit, for probably, various different reasons. I'm not saying it's because of this, but as I do look around and I notice a lot of things these days, I do notice there's I mean, push, almost, or it seems like like I said, we're being told and being taught on a grand scale that our lives don't really mean anything. Because it's all just by accident and there's no afterlife or anything, and there's just no point, and you couple that with some thoughts about just how awful and disgusting this world is too, and all the horrible terrible things that happen to people, good people, all the time, you know which is only more pronounced by media and the news and everything all around us, and movies and TV constantly showing us just the apocalypse and the end of the world and this horrible thing and that horrible thing. It's no wonder depression is like the number one mental illness in the world. But it's no, it's no wonder that suicides are such a big problem in this country. A lot of people aren't taught or don't believe that life is important. I've had a very good life, and I still do, and I haven't been through nearly you know as horrible things as some other people have gone through, that a lot of people have gone through and go through. I've had a very good life, but I have gone through some dark patches, and if I didn't come out of it with a sense of my life is actually important and so is all life, I don't know how hard I would be trying right now, because that's one thing that, again, priorities, where I've seen my priorities kind of lean to more and more over the last few years, is focusing on my flaws as a person. And it might be just some endless, I don't know, attempt at a perfection. I don't know. Hopefully not. I know I can never be perfect. I'm not purposely trying to be perfect. I just, I just target or zone in on things that I believe are wrong with me, and I try to fix them. Like I try whatever I can to fix them. And that's kind of been my priority these last few years, and it's been different things, that I've been tackling, and I've tackled a couple big ones, and I'm always trying to move on to the next thing, and one of those is just like I said, it's really wearing on me how antisocial I can be, and how I neglect certain really good friends, and you know how I don't reconnect with people. That's something I really just really, it bothers me so much that I know I have to work on it. It's a big priority for me in life right now, and as well as again, I went through some dark you know patches of time, here and there, and I feel like there was a lot of anger and bitterness involved in there, and there's still, I'm a lot better, but there's still in there some very, real far down in there. There's some real, anger and bitterness still just towards life, and people in general, and just senseless things to have such negative thoughts about. So that's still there, even though I can acknowledge now, and I can see, and I have seen, I feel like that life is really important and special. I still have days where I do start to sink in that pit. I do, and it's hard to see the brightness, and because it gets real dark and gray and dim, in that pit. It's not as frequent now, but when I'm there, I just know that it's like I just gotta kind of let it pass now. I know that life is actually good, and although I'm not, maybe sometimes not feeling good in the moment, I know it'll pass, and I know this is all, I'm still breathing for a reason, and this is all still for a reason. And that's just what I believe. That's just what I believe. But I believe that through, like I said, just the last couple of years, you know, just my, for some reason, I eventually got an itch to really start digging in on things and discovering things and learning about things and trying to relearn about things that maybe I've been taught before. And, it's just this real passion to try to learn as much as I can. And it's really given me this different perception of life. And a lot of it has to do with just reading about history and the history of human beings. You don't even have to read the Bible or, Christian text, or religious text, just read the history books. There's something amazingly important and specific about our species and why it exists and why it was, I believe, given consciousness, which I've done an episode on. That's just a fun topic. The more you look into things, the more you look at it, you know, I don't see how you couldn't come to the conclusion that this is all very important. You know, so many people already have, and a lot of those people were, scientists, and such during the Enlightenment and things, and now, people, like I said, I don't know, I don't want to say they crap on that idea of life being important, but I feel like they kind of do now. They crap on that idea, especially when it connects to any kind of religion or Christianity. that life is, special and important and things like that, you don't ever see that kind of thing promoted really anymore. Or I don't know, I can't say in my lifetime, that it was, America was a lot more religious and Christian leaning, back in the 60s and 50s and before then and such. But yeah, in my lifetime, unless you're in church, you're not really being taught that, you know, life is all that important and special. At least I don't think so. Maybe some people are seeing other things that can tell them otherwise you know, without religious text and things. But like I said, I just look at history and just this creation, this planet, this universe, all of it. I just think it's so specifically designed. It just, like I said, I was raised, being told God and Jesus are real and everything without questioning it. I got older, I questioned it, and I went through some phases of going back and forth on it. And like I said, now I'm kind of back to it. I really, do believe that there's something that specifically set all this stuff up for some reason, and to even think we're even close to knowing what that is, or all, that we know all that there is to know about it, this possible creator is just asinine. That's why I don't agree with just people being like, oh, just read the Bible and just believe that. But just as I don't believe that, I don't believe that people should just be like, oh, there's no God because, science and, that's that. No, I question both, and I don't know, man, just more I've thought about it, the more and more I've thought about it, like actually thought about it and questioned it, it just seems so plausible. So plausible that there's some kind of God. And but it's not what, like I said, is just what is in the Bible, and we know everything there is to know about God. Like, we should really, like, man, like, I don't know, that's why science kills me, man, because science is amazing and it's great. And even, some of the greatest scientists of our time have been Christians. But the way that they try to squash God is like crazy to me. It's like, why, with all this science and everything, technology today, why would you not be trying to put all your resources into discovering God? Like, I don't know. Like, that one's case closed. Like, really? With all the science, you've only come further away from the idea of God, not closer to it. I get it. People just want to be like, oh, it's science. Man figured out science, or, man, just because we figure out an equation to something or a formula to something, that means that it could still be created by a God, like, that's what sometimes it seems like people are saying, or that's how I take it. And there was a time where I probably would have been, believed that or been more open to it. But now I'm just like, I don't know. It's like the fact that you're able to figure everything out, the fact that you're able to figure out that scientific equation or mathematical equation or whatever, or formula, just tells you that, oh, well, if you could figure it out, that means you could create it as a man. If you as a man could create it, then easily could some man or something made in the image, or that we're made in the image of, i.e. something like a man, create you and all of us and all of this. One of the biggest things that, and I know I'm kind of flying off now, this coffee's getting to me. I'll end this here soon. What really did a lot of this in for me was me learning about CERN in Sweden, man, and the God particle that they supposedly discovered. They're literally smashing atoms under the ground, you know, in a possible attempt, to see if it can create the Big Bang. Like, what if that happened? What if scientists created the universe? If scientists created the universe, then what's the difference between them and God? Is that not God? I'm telling you, man. Our universe could literally just be in CERN in Sweden right now. It could be an endless chain or wormholes or whatever, of universes being created in Sweden underground. God could be a scientist. Why not? Scientists can make life, and they're figuring out how to do everything with tissue, and they're playing God all the time. So I just don't, I don't like that argument anymore. Like, if that's what you believe in, definitely respect it. But to me, it just further proves that there easily could be a God, and it just makes it, even more realistic that, I don't know. But of course, people think they already have this idea of what God is, and people are pretty much just, I don't know, it's gotten so dumbed down that people just think, and again, this is just through media, and such. It's not from actually people reading the whole entire Bible, which guilty I've not done either. Never will, I'm sure. But, people have this idea that, oh, God is magic. God, oh, if God can create everything, then God wouldn't make, there be bad things. If God was good, then God wouldn't make there be cancer and this and that. And they got all these ideas about God. It's like, again, once you actually try to re-educate yourself, or educate yourself for the first time. Me, I had to re-educate myself. I was taught about God my whole life. But until I actually started to question God, did I finally understand God and really believe in it, But you realize that that's not God, you know? That's not God, Again, and maybe it's just because like I said, that idea of CERN, people, scientists, in Sweden, creating the Big Bang, creating the universe all over again, because I have that thought and idea in my head. I'm like, well, again, since we're made from God's image, and this and that, and God may be very likely, very closely related to just a man or scientist, then it makes so much sense for them to be vengeful and angry and, emotional and maybe a little irrational. I don't like this idea that, and maybe it says it in the Bible, probably, but people like to pull the whole, oh, God is perfect, and, God does everything perfectly. And it's like, well, and this doesn't make me not want to love and, God and everything, but it would actually make it even better to humanize God in a way, to be like, well, maybe God did make some mistakes, because God is kind of like a human, maybe God isn't perfect. Maybe God had to learn from their mistakes, I like that thought. I like that idea. It makes it really seem like we're really connected in a way to God, you know, but in a way that's humbling. You see what I don't like about a lot of this, this, how do I want to describe it? Again, I feel like it's just, again, a push or an attempt to squash God, but there's this thing where people try to build each other up, especially celebrities, try to talk about how we all can be gods and goddesses, we're gods, like this whole thing, like when it becomes a self-righteous thing and oh, we're so great kind of thing, I'm not down with that. I'm not okay with that. That's not what again, what I think of anymore when I think of God. I don't think of this, you know, I don't know. Of course, there's a lot about worshiping God in the Bible and things, but that I do kind of tangle with in a way. Like now, I feel like anything closely related to a man would not want to be worshipped per se. But it's a big thing with, I feel like, celebrities and people who consider themselves gods and goddesses. They are acknowledging that they're worshipped, and they probably like being worshipped and praised, and they're idols, and they know, people are participating in idolatry when they're praising them and stuff. They're just, I certain celebrities, I believe they are God. The way that some people treat them, I believe that they believe that, yes. Because the way we treat some celebrities, man, you know, I've never, I've always liked celebrities. I have my favorite actors and stuff like that. I hope I've never shed anything close to like worshiping, but some people, it's just cringy sometimes, man. The way that some people treat celebrities and such. Oh, man, it's cringy. They literally worship some of these people. It's crazy. And they're no better than me or you. It's insane. Yeah, maybe they have a good voice, or, they can cry on command or something, but other than that, they're probably no smarter than me or you. In fact, they're probably dumber. But people are praising them like gods and goddesses, man. That I have a problem with. You know, I don't know. I like the idea of being connected to a god, or God. Being connected to a being that supposedly does truly care about all of this and all of us. Even though sometimes, again, they can be vengeful, sometimes they can, you know, be a little angry at, things, but, you know, I mean, if you just think about it, if this was all created by a god, it's like, and you just wanted, and trying to put myself in the mind of God here for a second. If you wanted to create something that was similar to you, where you are this thing that has conscious, but there's nothing else maybe around you that has consciousness, or you know, or whatever. You had some reason that you wanted to make life and this world that life can be on. You know, there had to be some emotional connection to that. You know, there just has to be. There has to be some, with so much thought. And again, just hypothetically speaking, if this is all created by God, in the way that we're kind of taught in traditional Christianity and such, the way that God made life and humans and made this earth to work so perfect in tandem with a sun and a moon and a cycle, and whatever, and then a human, another human being, that has all these parts in it that makes it stand and have muscles and skin and all these just little things that protect it, and all these little intricate things. That's a lot of detail. I mean, just imagine if that's this is what you're creating. Like, imagine, it's got to be similar to like a video game creator, creating a video game world. Like, just imagine being a video game creator and just putting massive amounts of detail into this world you're making, and the people that you're making. You got to have a love for the things that you're making. You got to share a real connection to it at the end of the day, especially your finished product. So that, I like that thought. It makes it, seem like that we are cared for. This is special. This is, probably for a reason. But But that doesn't mean we're not going to go through some dark times. You know, a lot of people like to give up on the idea of God when things are going bad. And I get that. Again, that just furthers my questioning of what is life and what is the purpose and meaning of all of this. If we're able to go through so much turmoil, but if you are someone who has faith in God and has hope for things, and I do, you just have questions like, okay, then why? If things are going to be okay and things are going to be all right, because there is, maybe something out there that's going to make sure things are all right. It's like, what's the reason then? What's the reason for life? What's the reason for life to keep going? It's been going for thousands and thousands of years, supposedly. Why go 1,000 more? Folks, I do believe there's a reason for all of this. There's a reason why I turned 27. And if you're awake right now, there's a reason for that. If you're asleep and you wake up tomorrow, there's a reason for that. I know life is so massive and there's so many people that populate the earth and everything, and I know this from experience. It's hard to feel like you fit in somewhere in there as something important, because again, sometimes we're taught and made to feel like we're disposable. But again, just the things that I've been reading and learning about these last couple of years, man, it paints a different picture. And it really paints a picture that shows that this is all for a reason. And we may not ever know the meaning of life, but I think we will be shown that it is wholly, in general, good and a good thing. I think that will be proven to us finally. And there's a lot of people who have gone and passed and who have lived through some horrible times in this world who aren't going to be alive to see that proof. And that's real sad, but gosh, it just makes me so just shook to be aware of that and to know that I'm living through that right now. I'm living through a very specific and important time in history. We all are. Man, and sometimes it's those thoughts that keep me going. It's the future that I think about. It's knowing where things are going and knowing especially where things are going to be for my daughter and what world she's going to be able to live in. Because now, like I said, that's what I'm all about. I want to make sure that she is prepared for anything, but also if I can try to do anything or try to support anything, it would be, to make sure that this country specifically has a fighting chance and stays free and always has a fighting chance of keeping people free. That's very important to me now. And so now here I am, 27 years old. And man, I've had a lot of great birthdays. from, I got it on video still when I turned 6 years old, and I got my first Woody doll and Toy Story on VHS. When I turned 8, when the Game Boy Advance first came out, and I remember I went and got my hair all spiked up with gel because that was the cool early 2000s kid thing to do, that Max Keebler, like, spiky hair or whatever. And my dad was so upset. And I got that Game Boy Advance, man. And, again, it's hard to even totally remember these last several birthdays, and let alone remember what I've gotten for them. I've gotten this sweet computer monitor a couple birthdays ago, and this mic, man, I really love it. I got this year, and I try to remember them, like I said, in a way to keep them special, but I never really do anything special for my birthdays. Maybe I should. Maybe it's not a big deal. I know it's important, though, and I'm just very grateful for my life and the people in my life. And again, I'm so glad that I've had a great childhood that I can look back on with fond memories, and to take me back to simpler times when I cared and thought about different things, because that's very, again, important for me right now too, man, because I get so into such serious topics that it's so stressful, and it feels nice to escape to childhood thoughts and things like that. And I can only hope, since I turned 20 and feel like I realized what I wanted to do with my life, and now I have this mindset that's totally kind of shaken that up in a way. It's still something I want to do with my life. I want to become a filmmaker, but my perception of life and priorities are just so kind of different now, and it's got me pretty lost, and I just don't know what to do with my time. I just don't. I'm trying this YouTube stuff. I'm trying, this podcasting stuff. It's occupying some of my time, but, I don't know if I'm serving any greater purpose, but I also don't know if I'm supposed to be or need to be. I got quite a special little thing going on here. I got a wonderful fiance who I want to take care of forever, and I got a wonderful child who I want to take care of forever. It's sad to get older. It's sad that I just can't shake the thoughts of the future off, and what comes with thinking about the future comes with thinking about the inevitable end. And as I get older, those thoughts plague me more and more. To see anyone else go, to see my dad go, my mom go, any of them, It's unfortunate that the one thing we all share in common, is death. It's the one thing that always takes us out and truly equalizes us. It makes it really known that nobody's better than anyone. I don't care how rich and powerful you are. You're not getting out, just like I'm not getting out. I'll probably do a whole episode about death as well. It's morbid, but it's interesting to me. But yeah, I'm gonna keep on keeping on. I'm gonna keep trying to seek, more knowledge. I'm gonna continue to seek enlightenment, and I'm gonna try to continue to focus in on my purpose and try to just make, I don't know, make the best out of my time, and whatever that is, I totally don't know. I'm trying random things here at this point. But one thing for sure, though, I definitely need to reconnect with some friends. I still got some work to do on me. But I really just want to let y'all know I love you. And life is nuts right now, but we're all going to get through it together. And I can't convince anybody, I'm sure, but I still just can't stress it enough. Life is very important. It's very special what's going on right now. It's very, very unique. It is. We're a part of something insane. Something totally insane, man. Maybe the longest experiment ever conducted, I don't know. But just appreciate it. Appreciate that you get to be here right now. If you're going through some dark, tough times, man, I just can only try to send you the good vibes. And you know, we all at the end of the day got to choose our weapon to fight with. I don't want to sit here. I'm not going to ever sit here and preach to people that like, oh yeah, life is sunshines and roses, because I know it's not. But I truly do feel though we get set up with dark times to get through them. They are meant to get through. So if you're going through some stuff, you can get through it. I believe in that, and I just hope the best for you. And yeah, I think that's about it. It's 3 in the morning. I'm going to be going to Colorado in less than 48 hours. Love you guys. And yeah, be safe out there.